Welcome to Agile Network India April event. We are here post lunch session. We will be beginning with Ahmedabad chapter, a panel discussion, topic being rethinking the role of business analyst in Agile world. This session is going to be moderated by Nupur Patak, and we have Rakesh Mehta, Gaurang, and Bharat as a panelist. So before we start the session, let me thanks our founding sponsor, Innovation Roots. Innovation Roots is a leading consulting and training service provider, helping organizations to achieve business agility and beyond. It is one of the leaders and pioneers of niche publishing services and well known for content collaboration with global thought leaders, authors, and creators. For more information, request you to visit our website www.innovationroots.com. Quick do's and don'ts. Join the five join the event 5 minutes before the start time. Use high quality speakers or headphones for better sound quality. Please keep your microphones muted and video disabled as this may cause disturbance and bandwidth issue. Questions will be taken via chat box. Please enter your questions in the chat box. At the end of the session, the facilitator or moderator will help and read out a few questions to the speakers as per time available. Please fill the feedback form after the event to help us understand more about the event management. We appreciate your cooperation. With this, I would request Nupur Patak to come and introduce herself and take take on from here. Over to you, Nupur.
Thank you so much, Prashant. Thank you for the brief introduction. And good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, first of all, for joining us on a weekend afternoon. We are really excited to discuss about an interesting topic. My name is Nupur Pathak, and I'm going to moderate today's panel discussion. I'm a lead consultant and chief media editor with Innovation Roots, and I look upon the strategic key accounts, community initiatives, and some media initiatives. So that's a bit about me. And moving on to our next panelist.
Yeah, thanks, Nupur. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining. So, I am Rakesh Mehta. I am having 14 years of experience in IT. So, if I talk about my expertise, my expertise are in project delivery and pre-sale solution. So right now, currently, I'm working in at Sigma Solution as a delivery manager. So Sigma Info Solution is a Bangalore-based headquarter company. So they are into e-commerce, analytics, and fintech. So I take care the e-commerce division at Sigma, take care the delivery and pre-sale solution. And at last, I would like to thank Agile Network India to giving me such a good opportunity to speak about this topic. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, hi guys. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm Gaurang Kukadia. Currently, I'm working as a Scrum Master and Agile Project Manager with S&P Global. It's one of the leading fintech organization in the world and Fortune 500. Uh, as a Scrum Master, like I'm responsible. I'm working with the multiple agile team and coaching them, and at the same time maintaining the delivery timelines and all. uh, I work closely with the product stakeholders as well as the technical stakeholders in order to deliver the project's visions and all to our client. I have almost around like 8+ years of experience working with the different technology, different clients, and different geography. I I have also like work as a Oracle ERP consultant for different domains. So yeah, thank you, and looking forward to have the healthy discussion with all of you. Thank you.
Hey everyone. Thanks Nupur, thanks Prashant for giving this opportunity to share my views. Yeah, myself, Bharat Bambani, I come with 20 years of experience in IT, starting from development to making deliveries happening and also catering clients at different level. So I have been working as an owner for a niche software, and also we do have a product which is called serving as an e-commerce product. And yeah, so definitely I can say I'm one of the proud professional in the IT industry since I started in India back near to 22 years back. Yeah, so since then I've been associated with the industry. Yeah, so I will be definitely pleased to share my views in this channel. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Rakesh, Gaurang, and Bharat, for the brief introduction. It is wonderful to know all three of you and know what you're working on. And I'm sure this is going to be an enriching discussion for all of us today because this is a much talked about topic. Um, with the agile implementation increasing in organization, there's a lot of talk, especially among the business analysts, about what would be the influence of this implementation on their roles. And we would try to understand how it was earlier and how it is now with today's discussion. Before moving on to the discussion, Gaurang, can I request you to use a natural background if that's possible? Um, Otherwise, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll.
sure. Yeah.
So, as I was saying that since the implementation of Agile is quite varied in different domains, different organizations, and the role of business analyst is influenced greatly by that. Let's talk about what was the scope of business analyst before Agile, and what was the major change after the Agile movement. So, Rakesh, what would be your thought on it?
Yeah, sure, Nupur. Yeah, this is very interesting questions. Yeah, so let's say if I talk about what was the scope of BA business analyst before Agile. So as per my experience so far, what I see, like BA's role was mainly to create the lengthy document during the waterfall, let's say traditional. He mostly worked as a silos in the sense like his role was very limited to do the analysis only. Plus, in some cases, every company has different processes. Like some pre-sales guy was taking BA role. In some company, there are different types of post-sales BA. And at that time, like during traditional waterfall, client was sharing the requirement BRD document, like business requirement. Then BA has to gill down the requirement in a detail level. So at that time, mostly the documentation was the main KRA, we can say, for the business analyst. Then what happened? Then like major change happened. Major change in the sense like let me first discuss why there was a shift like to traditional to what this agile methodology. So one thing about like at that time the market become very dynamic in the sense there were a lot of competitors, there were a lot of website references come up. So change request, let's say product ecosystem, the change request is the critical part. So we were getting the constant change request requirement from the different clients. So it was not possible on waterfall traditional model. And second instance was about like delivery become frequently, because earlier there was a time like there was a monthly we are giving demos to client. Now the requirement was only 2 week cycle we need to give delay, so delivery become very frequent. Plus like there the client was also become very educated based on the references forums are available. So there was, as per my view, there was a shift. Then product development was migrated to like this agile. Now talking about what are the major changes for the BA roles in agile methodology. So first I can see like BA's business analyst role now expand in the sense right now it is not only limited to documentation, but we are going the any other areas as well. Plus now he is now actually become the part of the scrum team members, right? It is not agile like BA and silos. BA is now actually the part of the team members. He is involving them starting from, let's say, entire project development cycle, starting from analysis to the, let's say, DevOps deployment type of thing. Plus the collaboration is also increase a lot with the different teams, not only the functional but in terms of discussion with, let's say, designing discussion, solutioning, let's say, different criteria. Plus tools and processes are also in place in the agile with BA. Like the BA has to now use different tools, methodology, framework. So in nutshell, let's say if I can say in terms of, let's say, one liner about the BS KRA in agile, it could be like now the information is very synchronized and now And the BSKR is to provide value for a, let's say, product team to make decision quickly and accurately. So this is what my observation so far.
Alright, so I think now it is no more working in silos. The business analysts, they're part of the Scrum team, as you mentioned. Bharat and Gaurang, do you have anything to add on to what Rakesh has just shared with us?
Yeah, sure. I totally agree with what Rakesh shared, right? So definitely, the way we look at the requirements, the way we look at the roadmaps shared by the client, right? So now the whole scenarios have been changed since we moved into the agile, right? So even client also appreciate if you become more flexible in terms of accepting their requests as and when it comes. And it's not only like they do it, it's a demand of the market, right? So far, like if you look at a very hypothetical example, if you look at the an year a car company even comes with, let's say, 15 different models, right? So earlier it was kind of you come up with one model and it's been running for 15 years. So that's how the scenarios have been changed. So that's where this role, the whole transformation of this role of business analyst is also changed. So I really agree with Rakesh on this.
All right, thank you, Bharat. Now moving on to our next question, which is also very significant to what we are discussing today. How do one keep their fitment for the roles within the agile world? As there is no formal designation of BA in this scenario, right? So it becomes quite difficult for a person who is working as a business analyst. So, what are your suggestions? We'll start with you, Gaurang.
Yeah. So I would say like in Agile we do have the role for the BA. It's not like in we don't have the role for the BA. In Agile we have a word for the Agile team. So that consists the BA, that consists the development, that consists the architecture and all. Okay. We do have the product owners, product manager. Those are also part of the Agile team. Okay. So yeah, but what I would say over the time period of time you have to evolve with the requirement and the changing world. So earlier, like if we talk about the BAs, they just used to, I would say, like they prepare the document, preparing the UML diagrams and all. Okay, but now it's more like the you need to be very strong in the communication, getting the requirements from the client. You kind of have to work very closely with the PO as well as your development team and the client, because pure is more knowledgeable about the product. Okay, he might not have the better communication skill with the client and all, he have a very good understanding and knowledge about the product, but as a BA you need to feel all the required gaps. You have to closely work with the PO, what he needs and all you need to provide him. You have to work and you have to proactively communicate with the client. Okay, what and like on what scenarios and where we on what things we are working right now. Okay, at the same time you also need to get in touch with your development team, like whether they are understanding the requirement correctly or not. So I don't think so like the BA role is completely out of the market. BA role is still there. However, like some companies like they they use the word as a consultant. Sometimes some companies use a word as a BA, some companies might use a different word. Okay, but ultimately in each and every team there will be one person who is working as a BA, who is acting as a BA. So I would say BA role is definitely there.
All right, Gaurang. Rakesh, but you have anything to add on to what Gaurang has shared, that there is already an existing role? You may call it something else, but it does exist.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with Gaurang. So BA's role should be there. Yeah, and I would say like it's become now more responsible as compared to the waterfall. Now BA has the, like we can say, as the main driver in the project. Like he is not helping on the requirement capturing part, but he's also helping on other area. Like he's helping product owner, Scrum Master. So there are so many, we can say, n number of things where BA has to do in as a part of the, let's say, agile methodology. So I definitely, completely agree with Gaurav.
All right, thank you, Rakesh. And before I move on to the next question, it is for all our participants. If you have any questions around this topic, please make use of the chat function in your control panel. We'll try to get some questions answered at the end of our session. So please make use of this opportunity. Now coming back to our discussion topic, as we are talking about how it was earlier, how it is now. Let's talk a little bit in detail, or let's try to understand what does a business analyst do in an agile project. So, Rakesh, I think we'll start with you on this.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So now in agile Scrum methodology, business analysts can do n numbers of things. If we talk about, let's say, start with the requirement capturing. So nowadays, what happen? We are only getting the problem statement. There was a, like, earlier we used to get the BRD, that type of document from the client, but now it's only the problem statement we are getting from the client for the product. So BA has to, like, engage with different stakeholders. They have to aggregate of different opinion. They have to present options, because now scenario is, along with this problem statement, BA has to find solution as well, along with the functional requirement plus solutioning. So it increases the collaboration with the different teams. Then BA has to now do the different analysis, like impact analysis, the risk analysis as well. So I can say, like, embrace the, like, team members role. Now BA is very embrace, and they can take the any task for the team. Let's say in Scrum, we can say the Scrum Master is act as a facilitator, right? And product owner, we can say, is the responsible for requirement management, client management. So if we talk about, let's say, product owner, so here BA is also helping product owner, in the sense, like, they helping to product owner to make decision very faster. So BA is helping to make decision more easily. They help on the define user stories, exception criteria. They provide the end-to-end communication with the team in terms of requirement. Plus they manage the product backlog, understand the new requirement, create the work breakdown structure. Maybe they find the gaps in the requirement as a part of the, supporting product owners. They check the new requirement, helping, like, identify epics, user stories. So these are the area. Nowadays BA is also helping product owner, so product owner can take the decision very quickly, because nowadays we are in agile, right? So everything moving fast, very so this is on product owners. In Scrum Master also, I can see nowadays BA is also helping Scrum Master on daily Scrum meeting. Plus in sprint reviews also, BA is now very critical, helping hand for the Scrum Master. In spring retro picker meeting, or different types of Scrum ceremonies, I can see, like, BA's role is very expand. Plus, like, there are some tools also nowadays BA is using, let's say, SWOT analysis, mind mapping, brainstorming, in order to, let's say, because in agile what happen, like, there is a 2 week sprint cycle, right? So BA has to explain requirement over the multiple times to different teams. Let's say there is one requirement, one features, BA is explaining. If it require more clarity, so BA is now helping with the wireframes, helping with the process, using some different brainstorming ideas. So this way, like, these are the thing I can say BA is nowadays doing.
Yeah, I think you have covered a lot of things that business analysts are doing these days. I believe they're playing a very critical role in the communication side of it, and acting up as a bridge between different teams. That is my point of view, and I think they, as Rakesh has also mentioned, their role is quite critical in creating a roadmap nowadays. I mean, it's kind of an add-on from what they were doing earlier. That's what I think. Yeah, Gaurang and Bharat, do you have any other points to add on to about what BA does in an agile project?
I think most of the scenario that Rakesh covered, almost all the scenarios, which I can possibly think. So nothing from my side to add.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree.
All right. So thanks, Rakesh, for covering most of the points out there. And
Welcome.
yeah, now let's go to the most talked about questions, because ever since we started the discussion, we repeated the term of product owner and business analyst parallelly. And there's a question by one of the participants also, Amar. He's also asked something similar. What is the difference between business analyst and product owner, and what is the most significant thing that differentiate these roles from each other? I think Bharat, you would like to take this one first.
Yeah, sure. Definitely, I would like to take this. Yeah. So, in one line, if I define that, right? So, it's kind of a small or the younger form of the product owner, which we call a BA, right? So, so in a product owner at its early stage is kind of a BA sometimes in his life, right? So, if you are a good BA, you can think about to make your career towards a product owner. So that's a one-line statement, right? So for becoming a great product owner, you must have that great skills of the BA within you. So that is something, some of the prime requirement. So that's a one-liner. Now coming back to how does these two people make differences with their performances, with their roles within the product life cycle or within the project life cycle, right? So starting from the product owner, like say the product owner is at very high level personality, right? So when we say high level personality, like he looks at the product from the market angle, right? So what would you know or what you need as a go-to market thing, right? So that's how he brings up or he comes with. So that's the first point with the product owner. So it's a, he is a personality having lot of big things within him, right? So he usually work on the market strategy. He would definitely work with the core stakeholders of the product and make sure that the overall product map is rightly defined, and right, so and what all need is based out of market, it's covered within the product, and the product is being moved, developed and implemented accordingly, right? So at high level he will be the person who is going to drive the whole show. Now coming back to the business analyst, right? So business analyst is the person who required to just streamline all these activities within the help of the development team, right? Now, so let's say as a business analyst, right? So a hypothetical example of, let's say, writing features or coming up with the features. So when you take those features and take back those to the development team, right? So you need those in a form of stories, right? You need the proper documentation, so which supports your theory, which supports your feature need. So for defining that need, you must have that representation in a format whereas development team can map with business and technology together. So that's where the role of business analyst come to the picture. So he would definitely works towards that particular path, but not in one go. He will be like small chunks he is going to support on that theory. So these are the major areas which these two people are kind of differentiated each other, right? Now if we look at like how are they collaborating, right? So they are both are collaborating on the strategy part or the solution part, right? So all the inputs from product owner is going to come from the output of the business analyst, or you can say vice versa, right? So if you as a product owner give your roadmap or your product strategy to the development team, right? So your business analyst can carry forward towards to the in a language or in documentation in the process which development team can understand. Similar way, when they deliver it back, so your users, end users, the training material and other stuff which your end users may understand, right? So that's the theory which you take from the developed product to end users. So that's how the overall scenario works.
Yeah, very nicely
I
explained.
hope
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Bharat. I think, as per my understanding, product owners are majorly customer centric, and we can say the business analysts are focusing on the project, or their focus is on the project delivery. So the customer centricity comes majorly in product owner's role. Now
true. Yeah,
let's,
yeah.
yeah. So let's move on to the next thing that we would like to address. And I would like Gaurang to talk about this. Gaurang, how do you make your role as business analyst more valuable when there is a full-time product owner available within the product or the project?
Sure. Yeah. So I would say like these two roles are very different in their nature. So when we talk about the product owner, he is owning the product. He's thinking is more towards the business, more towards the functionality of the product, what like designing the product roadmap, go to market strategies and all. Okay. And when it comes to the business analyst, okay, he is like more in terms of like working closely with the development team and providing the analysis and all. So without having the proper analysis, or I would say the proper analyzed data, the product owner cannot make the decision. where we can see the product owner is a kind of decision maker, but without business analyst, he won't be able to make the proper decision. So as a BA, and I would say as a BA, you like we have like a the fantastic combination of the skill sets. You have the understand as a BA, you do have the understanding about the market, about the client, about the product. At the same time, you are also able to understand the development strategies and slightly the coding part and all. Even in some of the organization, we do have the technical BA role where like the BA used to like they work on some of the technical component as well. Okay, so and we see like heard about some of the tech PO role as well, but it's very limited in the market. Very few organizations have that role for like for example called tech PA. Okay, but what I understood and what I like think from the product owner is you have to, as a product owner, if he will focus on all these coding part and all these communications with the teams and all, he wouldn't get the enough time to prepare his go to market strategies, to compare the product with the current market need, and to design the new features. Okay, so once the product owner design the feature, he can work closely with the BA, and they can like they can further analyze the thing like what things are required in order to make this thing happen in the real life. So I would say it's a very uh, hand in hand rule. I don't see like, and as Bharat mentioned, like if you are a good BA, then you will be a great product owner in the future. It's just like you just need a one particular domain knowledge if you want to work in a product industry. And if you have like multiple domain knowledge, then you can be a good business consultant.
All right, Gaurang, I have a follow-up question on that, and any three of you can feel free to answer that. Um, that how do you convince the stakeholders that you need a BA when you have already have a PO in the team? So, what are, if I may ask, what are the 3 points you will put forward briefly that this is what uh, what value the BA can bring. So what it could be. Any of you can feel free to answer this.
Sure, I would like to share my view on this. So, for example, in couple of organization, what I have seen, there is a two role. One is a PM, then PO, and then there is Agile team. Okay, there I haven't seen the BA, but the work which PO do, okay, it's almost similar like a BA. Okay, they do almost all the works which BA is doing, and the PM, the product manager, is doing almost all the works which normally in most of the organization product owner do. Okay, and if I like I don't have these like PO PM combination, and if I just have the PO in my team, and if I had to convince, I have to convince my organization for getting the additional BA, then I'll just simply like say them, if you want a PO to focus on the how delivery is going, okay, then he won't be able to focus on what market is demanding. Okay, if you want your PO to focus on what market is demanding, okay, how our competitors are doing and all, okay, then you definitely need a additional person who can work closely with this bridge, if who can build that bridge with the product owners and with the development team, and that will drastically boost, I would say, the deliverables, the delivery timelines, and even the quality and everything. Because even with the like when dev are working on some of the things, they do have a lot of questions on ongoing basis. So if he will directly go to the PO every time, he won't be able to focus on the client call and the other strategies from the product side. Okay, there has to be some person who can take at least some of the calls on behalf of the BA, sorry, on behalf of the PO. My bad. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Gaurang, for explaining this to us. Now let's talk about how can we improve the process and documentation, Bharat. Would like to hear from you on this.
Yeah, sure. So when we talk about documentation and the process related, right? So now we need to understand from the two angles. So one angle would be what is the need? Like how do you leverage a process or the documentation process rather within your organization? So that is number 1 point. Number 2 point would be like how do you implement it? Okay, so there are two different things. One is leveraging documentation process as a process, another is like the way you implement it, right? So both are interconnected. Now, first of all, like look at your organization. So what's the culture within the organization, right? So like, is your organization believes in retaining the knowledge in terms of the resources, in terms of the manpower, in terms of the documents? Like what's the theory you follow? Okay, so let's say if I follow a theory of retaining a knowledge within the or by the using of documentation, so certainly for my organization, documentation is the must to have part, right? And if I follow theory like to retain a knowledge within the manpower, I would go with a different route. But here we are more relying on the documentation to retain a knowledge within an organization. So that is leveraging documentation within an organization. Other part would be like, if you want to improve your efficiency within the processes, right, or within the domain knowledge or within the subject knowledge, right? So for that, efficiency improvisation is always possible when you have the different steps available to follow. Let's say if you read a history, then you look at the future, right? So if you take step by step, you understand like how did you start the development, how do you start the product, and now where are you, and now where would be. So for improving that efficiency of that overall performance, you would need a better documentation, right? That's another point of the leveraging your documentation processes, right? And the third one would be like, if you want to remove any conflicts within the with clients within the development team, right? So the conflict resolution, if you are using documentation process to resolve those conflicts, so that's the best way to perform that. So that's the overall importance. Why do we need the documentation processes, right? Now it's all about accepting the theory that we are believing in the documentation as a process, right? But when it comes to implementation, how much are we more disciplined about implementing the documentation? So documentation is not just about like writing a documentation and keep them aside. So they needs to be properly articulated, they needs to be properly versioned enough so that they are always up to date at particular time. So let's talk about, let's say we use Confluence, right? So through Jira, right? Now if you are using Confluence just to make keep documenting the things as and when they come, but you are not maintaining versions, you are not articulating properly, you are not validating what you have written, so in that case that whole documentation will not be of any use. But at the same time, if you write it down properly, you make sure you have shared with the all important stakeholders. Like let's say if you are some document is talking about the technical architecture of the feature, so it has to be shared properly to all the stakeholders who are needing that. So that communication channel needs to be very open and must be shared, so that implementation of the documentation process needs to be happen very efficiently. So then only you are able to take the whole advantage of this process. So that's how we can just kind of making as a part of ecosystem this documentation process. So that's how I see it.
All right, thank you, Bharat, for sharing the insights. Rakesh, Gaurang, you have anything to like something that you would like to add to it?
Yeah, I would like to just add one thing. Almost all the organizations prefer that they should have things documented, but the word, it's easy to say that we need to maintain the document, but maintaining the documents and this version history and all, it's a really very tricky job, I would say. And it's require a lot of skills and all. And trust me, like once you have the proper documentation in place, it's very useful with most of the organization. Now what's the case is, they do have the documentation, but they don't know when this document was created, what is the version of this document, whether this information is currently applicable at this time or not.
Absolutely, it's quite a tricky job and requires a lot of attention as well from the organizations and the processes. So agree there. Now it's very interesting question, Rakesh. I think you would have some insights to share about it. How does a traditional BA transform him or herself as an agile BA?
Sure, sure. If I can say one liner is agile mindset. Agile mindset is the very first steps. Let's say for traditional BA to transform himself as agile. Agile mindset would require the open-minded thing plus adaptive to change. because in traditional model what happen, BA has to prepare one document and other people has to agree, so there was no collaboration happen. But here what happen, every stage, let's say starting from designing, there is a different types of brainstorming happen between the BAs versus UX, then discussion with tech architect, developers, QA. So BAs should be open minded, adaptive to change, so that we can have a, because at the last our motto conclusion is to have a great product with the customer. So that is one area. And second thing I would say, about the knowledge of the agile methodology. So let's say learn more about, I would suggest more about more agile methodology by attending different webinars, books. So it will also, it will help a lot to understand the different types of framework, let's say Scrum, Kanban, how it use. So not only it will help individual, but as a company, as a, let's say if working with the product owner, Scrum master, so BA can bring the new values in day to day life. So this is an ongoing activity. It's not like we just read, because in every time, let's say if we learn, we come across different scenarios, perception. So it gives more clarity. And last, I would say, is provide as much as supposed to product owner. This is so that BA can learn more information about the starting from the product roadmap, strategies, for different types of requirement understanding. That includes the communication as well. And last thing, like Bharat has also mentioned, articulating requirement. So this is very like a good point. He said like articulating requirement in the sense like our developer and everything can understand properly. So most of the time, BA has prepared one user story, but most of the time, like in some company, there was no process. Like the ideal process would be, let's say, once user story was right, BA has to explain entire user story to developer in a more thorough, in a more brainstorming type of discussion. So this will definitely help us to reduce the like last moment change requests, and our delivery will also maintain as per the time schedule that we define.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Rakesh. Let's move on to some of the questions coming from our participants for some time. We have Rohit Joshi. He's asking how, however, I think we have touched upon this a little, but we can maybe go in little detail this time. How does the business analyst role change on an agile project compared to the projects using other software development methodologies? So,
I
any
would
of
like,
the
yeah, I would like to add.
sure, Gaurav.
Uh, sure. So here we would like to differentiate two things, right? One is like when we say any other project methodology, right? So what exactly we are considering here? So let's say we whenever it comes to that, so we always take waterfall as in comparative methodology, right? So that's how we have grown using waterfall through our life cycle. So look at the theory, like, so what is the basic difference between these two mindsets, agile mindset and waterfall mindset, right? So in one, see, no methodology is ever bad, okay? So it's all about how you implement it. So people have implemented great projects using waterfall as well, right? So there is nothing called a bad. It's all about how market demands it, right? So when it comes to BS role as compared to the previous methodologies, let's say waterfall, right? So let's say, as I also gave an example there, right? So let's say a car company now wants 15 models in a year. So definitely they would like you to be more accommodative in terms of the changing in the need, business need. I would not use changing in the requirements. I would use the changing in the business need, right? And that's very obvious thing. So we have to be very practical about it. Now, being an BA, you have written something, you have defined some feature, and that feature needs to be changed in terms of the business need of the market theory. So earlier it was kind of you have to go through it all the documentation through again, because you already freezed the things at one place, so that you are started following those as a bible, right? Now that that theory has changed, and you have to be keep open yourself, so that's where this story writings have come in the picture. So you are just breaking it down, your epics or your feature level things, to the small chunks, so that if required, some chunk can be supported by the next chunk by changing the things in there. So that's how this role of BA would be required to be in more aggression, right? So when we say more aggression, as in, like, let's say in one user story, if you are adding some designs, you are adding some theory, and you are saying that as a user I want to do that, but same theory can sit there. Still, in the next user story, you can always relate that chain and can do the better things. So as a BA, now you are very flexible and adding the chunks towards your end goal, but still you are just stick to the goal, right? So your mindset openly change there, so that you are now open to add additions in there frequently, rather than just following one bible at one place, one blueprint at one place.
All right, all right. Thank you, Bharat. Rakesh, Gaurang, you have anything to share with us on this? How does the role change?
No, no, I think Bharat has covered everything. Yeah, all the scenarios. So yeah, I'm good.
Mm,
Thank
Yeah,
you,
I
thank
would just like to add one thing is, I would say compared to the other methodology in the agile, as a BA you need to be more proactive in terms of communicating with uh, communication, as well as the accepting the needs, because compared to the other methodology, like agile is the one of the uh, method where you have to adopt, you have to accept the frequent change in the market. If you want accept it, you may become the Nokia. Okay, so, and yes, definitely, like, there is a no methodology bad. In fact, like, I have seen the teams which are failed in the agile and they have succeed using the waterfall. So it depends on the project, which project you have, what is the need of the project, and then you have to adopt the what methodology would be best suited for it.
you. All right, I think that makes sense. That first of all, we need to understand the requirement and then we can plan out on this methodology part. So, yeah, good point out there. Um, let's take the another this question by R.C. Goyal. So it has two, three parts of it. So let's just go one by one on it. He says BA defines story to address business needs of the targeted customer of the product. So BA factually correct role is most important. Correctly said is most important because BA is expected um, to know the customer's business or something around this. So BA knows and understands customers' business. Should BA not be defining the features?
Yeah, let me give answer to that. Yeah, so it's a nice question. Yeah, so definitely BA will define the features, because BA is the only person, like, during the starting with the understanding the business, or let's say use cases with the client, understand the problem statement. So BA is the owner. BA is the defining the feature in the sense like identify the different chunks, in the sense epic, user stories, that type of thing. So that is so because BA is the only person who knows the exception criteria as well. Let's say there is one user story, let's say registration page, so BA should be the well person that can define. So that is answer to first question. And second thing, product owner to function without BA's capability, it can be done, but will not get the desired result. Desired result in the sense like will not get the quick decision, because product owner has some other care as other responsibility, right? His main responsibility are client management, product roadmap, product strategy. So you can say like the ratio, let's say the quick turnaround would not be possible. So let's say BA would be there, and BA would be the sole communication with the different teams, understanding requirement, that type of stuff. Because that is was as a part of my delivery manager, what I saw, like when we start the actual development, then developer would require support of the BA on each and every user story. It's not like that BA has just prepared user story, then they just execute it. Some scenario came where while we start the development, while we interact with the client, so in that scenario, like BA would require, in order to like modify the user story to convey something to client. So in some cases what I saw, like every two sprint, BA has to give the demo, because some cases developers are mostly the tech savvy, they are not very confident in the call with clients, so they prefer BA can take the leadership in terms of, let's say, like starting the conversation. Once they are familiar, then they can take care the technical parts, that type of thing. So I hope so. I clear the
Yeah.
doubt.
I would just like to add to that. I I would say like not to compare BO with BA with PO or vice versa, because they have like a both of the roles required. I would say slightly different skill sets and all. And if you say like a BA can do a PO role or a PO can do a BO role, then in simple word anybody can do any role. If you simply recall your college project, at that time like we were the BA, we were the PO, in fact we were the developer only, we were the testers only. Okay, so we did almost everything. But you can relate that project with your real life project. Okay, what difference it can bring into the quality when you give a certain role to certain skill sets person. So that's the, I would say, the key point here. Otherwise anybody can do anything. There is a no limitation in the world.
Correct.
And on that matter, if we go with that theory, right? So then we do not need any delivery manager or project manager if
Correct.
the company is performing agile in a true manner, right?
Truly, truly. In fact, if you strictly follow the specifically the Scrum Master theoretical guideline on the role, then if somebody is performing the Scrum Master role with 100% correct guideline and the skill set, then at least after a certain year, there shouldn't be the need of the Scrum Master, at least for that particular team.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, that's correct. I
Yeah,
agree.
correct.
Yeah.
All right, that's interesting. We have 4 minutes in hand, and let's see if we can answer at least one or two questions in that time and conclude the discussion. Let's take this question by R.C. Goyal. He's saying, can I say that BA role and its importance is independent of the development methodology?
I say yes.
Yeah, Rakesh, but you have any point of view on that? Is the role of have no direct relation with which methodology you're using?
Yeah, of course. Right. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is indeed.
It's-
Uh,
So, like any more insights are required? I think like we have covered a lot of things surrounding this subject, right? So, definitely, it is. Answer is yes.
Absolutely. So we have few more questions, but we just have 3 minutes in hand. So let's try to conclude our entire discussion where we started with how the role of BA looked like when there was no agile being implemented in organizations, and how it is appearing now to us, and how it is different from PO, and how can you prepare to be an agile BA. So a lot of stuff that we have covered. I would like to
Yeah.
hear some concluding remarks from you on the future of BA role in agile world, what it would be. So you can we can start with maybe Rakesh.
Yeah, yeah. So in future, like BA would be very critical, like because very critical for the agile, let's say for agile methodology and different types of, because nowadays what happened, it is a very in that type of scenario we need to react quickly. So like this exposure currently with the BA would definitely helps in a near future to like discuss, like to improve the communication collaboration with the different teams, handling the proper communications entirely with the team. Plus nowadays I can see there is a lot of tech savvy type of things also came into the market. Like last time I was discussing with one client, so he mentioned about headless type of thing. Nowadays PWA type of thing, so it's become very the reason I am saying like giving this reference is because what happen nowadays, let's say if we are discussing requirement with clients, so client may use these jargon words, like they may or may they may need this type of functionality feature in their products in the future. So it's BA's responsibility to take as a lead and take the research and give us the final conclusion whether do you need or not, because these are the jargon, right? Different types of thing available in the market. So I must say BA's role will be become more agile, more multitasking, more tech savvy in the near upcoming years.
Thank you, Rakesh. So we are just on time. I would quickly like to hear from Gaurang and Bharat about their concluding remarks about the future of BA's role.
Sure. So from me, it's like in each and every organization, BA role is required. As I mentioned early, there might be the different name. Even like some organizations may not say like we don't have the BA, but trust me, there will be some person who will be doing the BA role, okay, with some different role name. So, but only thing is to be in the market, you have to be evolved with the changing requirements, changing technologies, and all, and you have to be on top of your communications and all, and you'll rock.
Bharat, a quick
Yeah,
remark as we are running short of time here.
pretty much covered. Pretty much covered. Whatever I would say, it's going to be similar lines on what Gaurang and Rakesh shared.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful 15 minutes with all three of you. A lot of topics that we explored, and I think there's a lot still to be explored in this topic. And we'll witness what happens for the BA role in future. And wishing all the luck to all the business analysts for the kind of job they are doing. Thank you so much, Rakesh, Gaurang, and Bharat,